Morning, everyone. Look, it gives me great pleasure to announce that Daisy Pearce will be our head coach of our AFLW program for the next 3 years. We're super excited, obviously, to have Daisy with us. It's been a bit of a journey to get to this point, but it's just wonderful to have Daisy with us today. So it's fantastic, and we'll open it up for questions.
Well, I'll start with you, Trevor. The significance of this hire for the AFLW program, which has obviously had its struggles in the past on field, what does this mean for the club going forward?
Well, I think it's just a vote of confidence for our program and the girls who are playing for our club, that Daisy's decided to take on this, and we're really looking forward to it. We think it's a really important step forward again. The program has been, I guess, a developmental program to start with, and now we're at that stage where we're, I guess, moving forward quickly. Daisy,
why the West Coast Eagles? Congratulations, firstly, obviously. Why West Coast? Why now?
Thanks, Ryan. Well, I see it as an incredible opportunity to come over here and work for one of the biggest clubs in the land, and I mean the talent that's on this list is probably what excited me first and foremost. Like, I've watched the competition really closely, and yeah, the Eagles are a team that haven't performed as they'd have liked to this point, but with the talent on the list, I think there's a really exciting future ahead, and I was really keen to get a part of it. Obviously, we've got the personal relationship with Michelle over the years, so I've got great trust in the people I'll be working with here, and it's a really big and well-resourced club that will offer me the support that I'll need as I enter into my coaching journey and as we start to steer this team in the direction that we want it to get to. So there's some work to do. Like, I acknowledge that there's a gap there, but that excites me. I see the work that we need to do. There's no massive environmental factors that we can't shift. So it's over to us, over to me as a coach and us as a coaching group, and the talent that we've got on the list to start closing that gap and getting after it. And that challenge excites me.
Can you tell us a little bit about the process when they first made contact with you, and then how you've sort of wrestled with the decision? Because I imagine it's a massive move for you, leaving Geelong, leaving Victoria.
Yeah, it's been an exciting time, but a time pressure on it, given that the season has only just ended, and then the urgency of sign and trade and draft looming as well. So we haven't had a lot of time, and it wasn't a change that I was actively seeking. Obviously, I was really happy and enjoying my time at Geelong, and was having incredible opportunities to learn and develop there. And they've been amazing through this whole process as well. I'm super grateful for the opportunities that they gave me to get inside their incredible club and to be a part of it and to grow in the short time that I had. But when this chance came up, I was really transparent with them and kind of let them know that it was happening in the background, and the same way they were super supportive and professional as I came into the Geelong Footy Club. They've been the exact same people on the way out. So yeah, just grateful for the support of people like Steve Hocking and Chris Scott, Nigel Lappin, who I worked really closely with at the Geelong Footy Club. They've made the decision easier in some respects because of the support they've offered me, but harder in another because you're leaving good people and a great club. But they've offered their support ongoing, and I've got good confidence that I'm going to find those same people here at the West Coast Footy Club.
What will the move look like for you? Will you come over full time?
Yeah, of course. We're all in. Roy and Sylvie, they're for and up for any adventure, and Ben, my partner, he's always backed me in and been super supportive, which I'm grateful for, but he's excited for the move and opportunity it presents us as a family as well. And yes, as is the case in footy clubs, they'll get me, but they'll get my family as well. And yeah, we're looking forward to that. So haven't nailed down exact move dates and that, but we've got work to do, and I want to get over here and get stuck into it as soon as possible. So it'll happen pretty quickly.
Sorry, Daisy. How about you as a coach? Do you come in with, strong ideas yourself about the coach you want to be and the game plan that you want to West Coast?
Yeah, a few. Like I think obviously I'm not going to know everything, and there's going to be plenty of things that I'll be doing in the next little while that I'll be doing for the first time. But I really hope I'm saying that about myself in 5 years and in 10 years as well. I think the nature of the game and life and people is that you're never going to know everything. And I've gotten to a point where I have enough confidence in the strengths that I will bring, that it'll be enough for us to get started. And with this really bought in and talented young group and the great leaders that are around as well, I know a lot of the narrative around this team will be around the young talent, but I'm just as excited to work with, you know, Swanee and Hooks and Gibbo, who I've played with and against for a long time. So yeah, I've just got enough trust that with a bit of hard work and an open mind and willingness to learn and a passion for doing it, that we'll get after the really important things early on and then work the rest out as we go. And what type of coach I'll be someone that, you know, cares fiercely for this group. I think the role that footy's played in my life over the journey, it was always more than just somewhere I went and played my sport. You know, it's never been transactional with the footy teams I've played for, and I hope to create an environment that's like that for these girls. Footy has been a family to me, and the clubs that I've been lucky enough to be a part of have played that role in my life. So I hope to coach in a way that, yeah, these girls feel supported and believed in, and like it's a place they can come to work, be themselves, work really, really hard, and have a little bit of challenge and pain along the way, but we'll have a whole lot of fun doing it, is how I hope to coach. And that's the thing I think we need to go after in the first instance, is just getting that right. But when you break down, like in terms of exactly how we're going to play, I think that'll evolve. Like obviously I've got ideas, and I've got a lot of ideas, but they're not something that I'm going to come in and apply to this team. I want to get in here and get to know this group and get a better understanding of the strengths that they have, and then adjust my ideas about footy and how it should be played according to what the strengths of this team are. And footy's a pretty simple game, and I think particularly in women's footy at the moment, the big part of what we'll go after early on is just the fundamentals of the game. You know, I think when you watch footy, any footy, I shouldn't just say in women's footy, but breakdowns and the difference between the best teams that we've had the luxury of watching through the AFLW final series and those that are working their way up they're not breakdowns in system or superior game styles. It's just the fundamentals. That's when the game breaks down. So that's what we're going to go after. And then a lot of it will be largely based around the contest as well. Like in AFLW, the contested possession rate's well over 50%, which is high in comparison to men's. And through this AFLW final series, there was about, on average, 60 stoppages a game, which is the same as in men's footy, which goes for 50% longer game time. So we're going to go after the fundamentals, particularly the contest fundamentals. And then in terms of how we defend and attack, we've got enough to go on with those first two things as we look to evolve that. But yeah, I'm super excited. We're not going to get everything right straight away, but we're going to go after a few things that I think we can really get to work on and improve pretty quickly.
Daisy, who made the first call? Can you remember where you were? Was it Trevor? Was it Michelle? What were you thinking in that exact moment?
I can't remember the specific details, but don't take that personally because I'm a busy lady. I was probably in between tantrums and I think it was probably contact through Michelle. Obviously, we talk a lot of footy, so a call from Michelle isn't an unusual thing, but yeah, I could tell pretty quickly that this one wasn't just to chew the fat and throw up ideas and ask questions of each other. It was something a bit different. So obviously respectful of the Geelong relationship, I stepped back pretty quickly because, yeah, I was, as I said, not looking for a move and, yeah, really feeling supported and developed in what I was doing at the Cats. But from there, handed over to Nikki, my manager, and Michelle and Trevor went to work, and let me know when it was getting more serious, and that gave me enough time to kind of talk to the people at Geelong I needed to. So, yep.
What about, you've obviously spoken about the relationship with Michelle going all the way back to the exhibition series games. Can you take us inside that? Because the two of you obviously had a great deal of success there.
Yeah, it feels a long time ago, and it's pretty rewarding to go through this process with someone that you shared the journey with back in the early days, and I guess the genesis of AFLW. It's, you know, if I remove myself from it personally, it's just another great reminder of how far the game's come. Like, I think the first game that we were a part of together, Michelle as coach, and Swanee and Hooks and Gibbo were probably out there, I think, as well. We didn't know if we'd ever play another one. Like, I remember running around as a player in the AFL or the women's exhibition games thinking, geez, I better not just get a kick. Like, it's sort of on us to make sure that women's footy get another crack at this. So now to think that there's a position at an enormous footy club on the other side of the country that's serious and legitimate enough to move my family across here, it's pretty surreal how quickly the game's grown. And yeah, it's pretty cool to go full circle with someone you started it with.
What do you make of the environment so far? Obviously, it's early days for yourself, but what do you make of the environment and the culture of the club, especially with the women's department?
I see a club that is really invested. I think all the footy clubs that I've been a part of have got some great strengths and some things that they're going to work on. I think that's just the nature of the industry we're in. And this is a place where, actually one little detail I do remember is one of my first meetings a couple of weeks ago with Trevor and Michelle is he was rattling off how many intercept possessions that someone had gotten in their second game for the footy club, and I thought, oh, here's a place where you're not going to have to convince them that women's footy matters and that we've got to get after improving our on-field performance, because yeah, that investment was something that was really clear straight away. Our challenge is now to just channel all that enthusiasm and passion and want to see this group do better into the right areas, and there's a lot of good stuff already happening, and I just see myself coming in and being able to contribute and help steer it, using some of the great experiences I've had at both Geelong and Melbourne before that, where Mick as a coach and that environment really shaped who I am and the coach that I want to be.
Trevor, why Daisy? Why did it have to be Daisy?
Well, I think when you reflect on what Daisy's done, I think the experience and what she's achieved in her time, obviously, Daisy was a priority for us, and we thought that she could bring something that probably no one else in Australia can bring to our club, and obviously we pursued it pretty heavily and forced her position. But no, it was from our point of view, it was something that we thought would help our football club, but certainly I thought the opportunity that Daisy could have as a head coach and coming through the system with all the work that she'd done, this was a no-brainer for us, really. I mean, it was an opportunity for both of us, and I'm hopeful that the partnership is expansive and very fruitful for not only Daisy but also the footy club.
As you start to finish up your role, does it give you great pleasure to sort of know that one of the big parts of the club is in these great hands for the next at least 3 years and hopefully more? It's sort of tying up another loose end.
Yeah, I'm hopeful it's more than 3 years, but the 3 years is the starting point, and I think the opportunity now is to have stability and have an opportunity for our girls to really grow together, knowing that we have got that sort of stability. And I think, look, my job's not done yet. I've got a lot of work to do with Daisy and the family, and a lot of things to do, and I'm looking forward to doing that, making sure they're settled and making sure that this is a smooth transition, because it's been an amazing decision for Daisy and the family to come over, and I think that just epitomises what she stands for and what she wants to do, and we're really grateful.
It was a really tough year for the girls at the end, especially. But what does it mean to have someone like Daisy come in just for the group standpoint?
Well, I think the girls will answer that. I don't know. All I can say is I'm sure they're really thrilled that we've got someone like Daisy who's been prepared to make that sort of commitment. And if we get that commitment back from our girls, we're going to improve dramatically. And that may not mean wins and losses and everything else, but we'll improve as a team as other teams keep improving. We need to improve fairly dramatically to make that, to close that gap. And I think that's what we're looking forward to.
Daisy, I guess for many it was a predetermined conclusion that you'd eventually end up a head coach at some club. What sort of gave you the confidence and what excites you about making that transition from player to coach in a year, essentially?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I learnt in my time at Geelong and working closely with Chris Scott was that you don't need to be everything to everyone all of the time as a senior coach. I think that was probably one of the doubts and nerves that I had in terms of making that step. I've been so lucky to have great coaches, and Mixton is probably the most recent one and the one that's had the biggest influence on shaping my career. And as opportunities would come up and discussions that I've had previously, even before my time at Geelong, as my time in the game was coming to an end and people were trying to retire me every year. As I contemplated, could I go from player to coach quickly, I kept thinking, I can't be Mick. Like, until I'm as good as Mick and until I can know that I can be what he's been to me, I don't want to take that step. Like, as a player, your time in the game is so short. And even if you have a long career, like I had, or like Swanee and Dana Hooker have had, it goes by like that. And I take great responsibility for that. And so I didn't want to take on a playing group if I wasn't ready to, and waste their time is the wrong word, but just get their time wrong. So that was kind of where my thoughts had previously lived, in wanting to tick off a whole lot more experience before I took on the challenge. But yeah, I think that change in environment and seeing a really well-resourced program in a men's program at Geelong, and the way that Chris was able to work really collaboratively and surround himself with people he trusts and then empower them to go and do their jobs, that gave me that confidence of realising, yeah, you're going to have strengths and you're going to have gaps that I haven't done yet, and that will just take time as I start to tick off and do things that you get exposed to as a coach, but you sort of can't do them until you coach. So I think I just got to a point where I had enough confidence in the strengths I'll bring, and that there's good alignment in terms of what this team needs and what those strengths are. And the rest, the bits I haven't done, it comes down to getting a good team around me, which I'm really confident with how this program's resourced I'll have the opportunity to do. That was another big factor in me coming to West Coast. And as I build that trust and that working relationship with them, I don't have to be everything to everyone. I can just let them do their jobs and help to steer where we're heading at different times, and yeah, really dial in on what my strengths are.
And just as well, it's very early days, I appreciate that, but you've been such a respected voice in commentary as well for Channel 7. Do you know what a move to Perth will mean for that?
It's, as you said, like very early days, and we've been really transparent with 7 and kept them across these decisions. And it was a conversation that started back last year when I finished up playing and kind of made that step when I got the job at Geelong. So they've been incredibly supportive, as are West Coast, of the notion of me continuing in the media. But yeah, it's something that we'll work through. The privilege of the job of being able to sit in the commentary boxes in the biggest stadiums around the country and talk about footy and call it my job is not lost on me. It's been an incredible experience, and I've been so grateful of the belief and support from Gary O'Keefe and Lewis Martin at Channel 7, the opportunities that they've enabled me to have in media. But I'm all in as a coach, and you know, the coaches that I loved because they were available to me and they wanted to invest their time in me and develop me. And I want to be that to these girls, so there'll obviously have to be a bit of change there, but we'll work out whether I can stay involved in some capacity as time goes on.